Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Arcade, Chapter 7. Jake skipped to keep up with the parade of senior officers crossing the bustling promenade. At Jake's request, O'Brien had contacted Keiko to meet them. Odo had returned to duty, and the remaining adults were so involved in a dialogue about the Zodran device and the bizarre consequences of wearing it, no one had asked why he wanted to go to the school. But they would, as soon as someone thought to ask the right question. Sending someone into this game is not like sending an away team down to a planet. Sisko stared at the floor as he walked. We're not dealing with physical circumstances, but with thought. But it is the same, Jake insisted. In a way. I think Jake is right, Dax said, matching Sisko's stride. When we encounter a problem in the physical world, we decide how to solve it with our minds. Quite true, Dr. Bashir smiled agreeably at Dax. If someone is lying at the bottom of a pit with a broken leg, we'd think about how to get the victim out first, before we actually did it. The only difference with the game is that the doing takes place in the mind, too. Sisko was still not convinced. But this game is dangerous. It traps the electrical impulses that generate conscious thought if someone makes the wrong decisions. Dax smiled and shook her head slightly. Benjamin, the point of the game is to make the right decisions. Exactly, Jake exclaimed. Dax winked at Jake. And luck is not a factor. There's no toss of the dice, no random selection of cards or spin of a wheel. Success depends strictly on intelligence and skill in problem solving. The player relies on his ability, not chance. I'll buy that, O'Brien said. But I don't understand how you expect another player to free the trapped children. Everyone came to a stop outside the school. Keiko wasn't there yet. Jake quickly explained his idea. If the new player avoids the traps that caught Rotor and Len and Nog, he can probably find a way to rescue them from the bridge and the pit and the snake. Sisko frowned uncertainly, and O'Brien nodded thoughtfully. It's just a theory, Jake said desperately, but escape solutions are programmed into every game I've ever played. Otherwise, they wouldn't be worth playing. Escape is not just a matter of solving the riddles and problems, Jake, O'Brien said. The trapped impulses need a way to get out of the device. Light sparkled across the silver surface of the headpiece as O'Brien held it up for dramatic effect. 4 minds, 1 device. Only one road home, Dr. Bashir sighed. Could you replicate the device? Sisko asked. In a Cardassian replicator? O'Brien snorted and rolled his eyes. I wouldn't advise it. Besides, replication might destroy the conscious impulses. We can't risk it. I've thought about that too. Jake paused as Keiko rounded the corner with her sleepy daughter Molly cradled in her arms. Sorry I took so long. I had to get Molly dressed. What's going on? Keiko unlocked the classroom and everyone filed inside. Jake immediately ran to a corner storage cabinet and pulled out the Federation IQ aptitude helmet. He rushed back to join the group, then had to wait to get their attention. A separate conduit is needed for each neural pattern, Dr. Bashir finished explaining to Keiko. We've only got 2. We've only got 1. 2. Jake shoved the helmet into O'Brien's free hand. And this one can be replicated. What is it? Dr. Bashir asked. A Federation testing device, O'Brien muttered. He glanced at Dax. What do you think? Will it work? Dax examined both headpieces and nodded. I think so. Bocat adapted the cable connections to be compatible with a standard recorder. I'm sure we can integrate 3 Federation helmets with the alien design to open extra impulse channels. Excited by the technological challenge of beating the alien gadget at its own game, O'Brien grinned. The Zodran device will function as a control panel. The thoughts of the person wearing it will direct everything that happens. Who's going to wear it? Dr. Bashir asked. I'm the best man for the job. All heads snapped around to stare at Jake. I passed the IQ aptitude test with above average marks, and nobody has topped my scores in the arcade. Absolutely not. Sisko gripped Jake's shoulders. This is not just another game. This device hurts people. It doesn't keep a running score. It's win or lose. Nothing in between. I know that, Dad, but the rules are the same. It's possible to win, and I can do it. Cisco is adamant. 3 children have already been hurt. We're not going to make it 4. But I'm the best. No! If I may, Commander, O'Brien interjected cautiously. Cisco's eyes flashed, but he let O'Brien speak. We can't discount Jake's ability. I've tried those games. Without much success, I'm afraid. I don't have the reflexes, the quick response factor that comes naturally to someone Jake's age. Chief O'Brien. Drawing himself up to his full height, Cisco glared at his chief of operations. If we were talking about Molly, would you let her risk her life? Molly's only 3 years old, Jake protested. I'm 14, old enough to make this decision. Jake's growing up, Commander, Keiko said gently. Sooner or later, you'll have to let go. Cisco smiled sadly. I'd prefer later. O'Brien touched Molly's cheek. I'm sure we will too, when the time comes. My friends are in trouble, Dad, Jake said earnestly. I'm the best chance they've got, and I want to help. Throwing up his hands, Cisco barked, All right, but I insist we take every possible precaution. No problem. Playfully cuffing Jake, O'Brien started for the door. I've got a couple of safeguards in mind. Solemnly, Jake offered his hand to his father. Thanks, Dad. I won't let you down. See that you don't, Cisco snapped sternly. His expression softened as he shook Jake's hand. Jake flushed with pride. Having his father's respect and confidence felt great. The only thing that could feel better was getting his friends out of the Zodran Crystal Quest alive. Chapter 8. Sitting on a biobed, Jake watched Dax, O'Brien, and Dr. Bashir complete their preparations. Once he put on the headpiece, his own life would be in danger too. He was scared, but fear gave him an edge. He would be alert and ready to cope with any problem the alien game presented. Jake's chest tightened as he looked at Nog. No trace of animated excitement showed on the Ferengi boy's pale face. No mischievous plans were hatching behind the blank eyes. He just lay there, unmoving and quiet, wearing a Federation helmet modified to fit over his large skull and ears. The extended neural network would not be activated until the filaments in the Zodran artifact made contact with Jake's brain. Then Nog's fate, like Tina Lynn's and Roder's, would be in Jake's hands. Or thoughts, Jake corrected himself. Now he understood the crushing pressure Benjamin Sisko lived with every day. Everyone on the station depended on his father's decisions. Nog's father had stopped by to demand that Dr. Bashir get Nog back on his feet as soon as possible. Quark was making Rom do double duty as waiter and busboy. However, Jake knew that was just an excuse to get away from the busy bar. Rom was really worried about his comatose son. Captain Gaynor and Tina Lynn's parents had come into the infirmary a short time later, pressing for information and action. Dr. Bashir had handled them diplomatically, expressing high hopes for the children's complete recovery. Then he had explained that having upset parents lurking about would hamper the treatment process. At first, they had refused to leave, but Dr. Bashir had finally convinced them. Jake was uncomfortable being the center of scientific and medical attention. Being watched by emotionally involved parents would have made the stress unbearable. Almost ready, Jake. O'Brien connected the Zodran device to the data chip reader. Bocat's equipment had been confiscated to save time. Commander Sisko had insisted on monitoring Jake's progress through the game. If something went wrong, the officers could analyze Jake's actions to avoid making the same mistakes. Benjamin Sisko would attempt the rescue in the event Jake failed. But he was not going to fail. He was the best player on Deep Space Nine. He would beat the Zodran Crystal Quest and save his friends. He absolutely had to, for reasons that went far beyond the satisfaction of winning. It was a matter of life and death. How are you feeling? Sisko walked up to Jake, trying very hard not to look as worried as he felt. Fine, Jake sighed. A little nervous, maybe. Nothing unusual about that. Leaning forward slightly, Sisko whispered, I always get nervous when it's time for Starfleet senior officer evaluations. Butterflies, cold sweats, bad dreams. Sick to my stomach. It's awful.
Really?
Jake sat back surprised. His father was the hard, demanding commander of Deep Space Nine. Oddly, knowing that the self-assured elder Sisko had moments of anxiety bolstered Jake's spirits and confidence.
Being evaluated makes you sick?
Worse than diplomatic receptions. Smiling tightly, Sisko stepped aside as O'Brien and Dr. Bashir came forward with the alien headpiece. Dax remained by the console that integrated the Federation helmets with the Zodran device. All right, Jake, Dr. Bashir said pleasantly. There's nothing to worry about. The biobed will monitor all your physical responses. The second an injury registers, I'll be right here to take care of it. The young man flinched as O'Brien shot him a warning look and kicked him in the lower leg. Not that I expect anything to happen, of course, Dr. Bashir sputtered. It's just a precaution. You understand. Of course. Jake was very much aware that a lot could go wrong, but knowing Dr. Bashir was there to fix any injuries eased some of the tension. I'll be fine. It might even be fun. Sure it will. Look at it as a great adventure. O'Brien held up the crown of ultimate wisdom. I'm ready when you are. Jake nodded and stretched out on the biobed. Ready or not, here I come, he thought as O'Brien placed the silver device on his head. A warm tingling spread over his scalp just before everything went dark. Commander Benjamin Sisko had never felt so helpless. His only child was embarking on a dangerous mission, alone. Making difficult decisions was part of growing up, and Sisko could not deny Jake's right to take responsibility. Jake was exceptionally talented and skilled in this type of game. Still, if anything happened to him, Sisko would never forgive himself. He's in, Commander, Dax reported from the integration console. Federation connections are activated. Sisko's heart lurched as Jake's facial features went slack. Vital signs normal and holding steady. Dr. Bashir stood on the other side of the biobed, surrounded by emergency medical equipment. Alpha brainwave activity is not registering. Sisko nodded in acknowledgement. This was not an unexpected development. Jake's conscious mind had been transferred into the alien circuitry of the Zodran device. The boy was on his own. Commander, O'Brien called out, I'm getting a visual. Turning abruptly, Sisko stared at the portable monitor, and a picture of a forest as seen through Jake's eyes. A bed of pine needles cushioned a trail winding through a woodland of majestic trees. Sparkling dust motes danced in rays of sunlight that streamed through green-leafed branches. A red bird soared from a high perch with a shrill cry, scolding Jake for disturbing the wilderness peace. A small furry animal with alert brown eyes and a twitching nose darted across the path. A brook ran parallel to the trail, splashing over rocks flecked with glittering crystals. I'm sorry, Dr. Bashir said sharply. The infirmary is temporarily closed except for extreme emergencies. Sisko glanced over his shoulder with a frown. A humanoid alien he did not recognize paused in the doorway. The tall, slim man wore high black boots over royal blue tights and a short, white furred cape over a matching tunic. Startling blue eyes dominated a beautiful face framed in long, silken white hair. He carried a silver rod with flickering blue lights in one hand and a wide leather thong in the other. Ignoring Dr. Bashir, the alien advanced. A faint humming sound sang from the silver rod. Furious, Sisko moved to stop the alien. No distractions could be tolerated. This area is currently off limits. Spotting the monitor, the alien screeched and twirled the folded leather thong above his head. A pocket in the middle of the strap whipped through the air. With a snap, he released one end, sending a white rock skimming across the room. Sisko ducked, but the monitor screen shattered in a blast of sparks and glass. Dr. Bashir hit his comm badge. Odo, to the infirmary, now! Hostile alien intruder! What the? Sisko stumbled backward as the alien dropped the slingshot, pushed past him, and lunged toward Jake. Fearing for Jake's safety, Sisko sprang and grabbed the man around the waist. They fell on the floor in a tangle of thrashing arms and legs. The alien shrieked, twisting and kicking under Sisko's bulk. Heavier than the slim humanoid, Cisco kept him pinned down until Odo appeared and snatched a silver rod. The alien stopped struggling instantly. Major Kira ran in a moment later. She paused, looking at Cisco, then Odo, and shrugged. Well, looks as if you two have things under control here.
More or less,
Cisco said breathlessly. His ship isn't armed, Commander. Neither was he, according to my sensors, Kira said defensively. I had no idea he was a threat until I heard Dr. Bashir's call for security. Odo picked up the fallen slingshot and handed it to Kira.
Primitive, but effective, Major.
Nodding, Kira inspected the leather strap. And made of harmless natural materials. The weapon detectors aren't calibrated to suspect a device like this. Rising to his feet, Cisco quickly looked at the team following Jake's progress.
Status report.
The Zodran device and the Federation helmets are operating perfectly, Dax said calmly. Jake's physical readings are still normal, too. Dr. Bashir spoke without taking his gaze away from the biobed sensors.
But we've lost visual contact.
O'Brien's fist slammed into the broken monitor cabinet.
There's nothing I can do to fix this, Commander.
So far, Jake was all right, but for how long? Checking his temper, Cisco hauled the alien to his feet and glared into blazing blue eyes.
I am Commander Benjamin Cisco, the Starfleet Administrator of the space station. Who are you?
The alien tensed, then relaxed with a serene sigh.
I am Talarn, High Priest of the Zodran Temple of Light. Why did you attack my son?
The priest glanced at Jake. That one wears the crown of ultimate wisdom. I've been searching for it since it was stolen from the Temple of Light many years ago. How did you know it was here? Major Kira asked curiously. May I? Talarn addressed Odo, extending an open hand toward the silver rod. Cisco nodded, and the security officer reluctantly gave the dazzling artifact back to the Zodran. The humming grew louder when the priest pointed it at Jake. The blue lights brightened and flashed faster. All these years, Talarn said, the locator staff has been dark and silent. I have been wandering from star to star looking for the crown. When it was finally activated, the rod responded and I tracked it here. The crown of ultimate wisdom is the sacred property of Zodran. You must return it immediately. I recognize your claim, Talarn. Calmer now, Cisco adopted a diplomatic tone. And the crown will be returned after my son and 3 other children are separated from the neural matrix. Talarn shook his head sadly. They cannot return, Benjamin Cisco. To escape the power of the crown, the mind must overcome many obstacles and make the right decision at the journey's end. We're aware of that. Cisco motioned toward Dax and the integration console. Additional conduits have been attached to the crown to provide safe passage for all the children's minds. Ingenious, but futile. Talarn paused and added in a somber whisper, It has never been done. Never's a long time, Kira scoffed. The high priest remained unruffled. The Zodran are a quiet people and mistrustful of outsiders. However, our planet is located in a crowded, highly traveled sector of space. Cisco listened patiently. Dax had explained that the Zodran were isolationists who feared everything foreign. For 2,000 years, representatives of many alien species have tried to solve the puzzle of the crown. Passing this test is required to open diplomatic and trade relations with Zodran. Cisco frowned darkly as the meaning of the priest's words became clear. Are you saying no one has successfully completed this test in 2,000 years? Yes. Talarn scanned the gathering with genuine regret. The journey is riddled with tasks designed to test the character of the individual chosen to represent their species. Qualities such as honesty, courage, compassion, all are measured. Many get far, but no one ever makes the right judgment in the end. Only the high priest and his designated successor know the correct response, a secret that has been guarded for generations. Stunned, Cisco just stared at him. The mind becomes trapped, and eventually it simply fades out of existence. A tear ran down the Zodran's cheek as he gazed on the bodies of the children. They are lost.
No!
Cisco turned to look at Jake's still face. This game is not over yet,